What is up, guys? Welcome back to a new episode from Backyard Boys. If you guys are new to this channel, please lightly tap that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on post notifications because we got some sick content. In this episode, we're actually gonna continue working on the E92 M3, and right now we just pulled up to the shop where the quarter panel has been dropped off because it's a commercial address. So let's go check out this quarter panel. And in this episode, we got some sick plans. We're gonna throw on some springs. We're gonna put the the lowering springs on. We're gonna put the rotors on, change the bearing, and test fit this quarter panel, make sure everything lines up. So honestly, there's a ton of work to get this quarter panel skin off the actual quarter panel or the inner pieces because it's got the whole frame rail and everything here. We got the whole gang out here because we're gonna load it up here in a little bit. But let's check this out. Let's see the condition of it.
Come check this out.
Look at this. What you got there? Oh, nice. Look at that. You got the birdie there probably too. But yeah, hopefully this quarter panel is not all in mud. And look at that, you got the frame rail, you got all this inner pieces, everything that we need, all the pieces. I'm not sure about this piece, if we should change it or not, but it all is here, it's safe. You got a sensor there, bunch of parts. And we got the trunk lid right over here, trunk lid. But we're actually not gonna take any of this apart. We're gonna do that at the shop. Look at all of this wiring all cut up. But yeah, our goal right now is to load it up onto the truck and then strap it down, make sure it doesn't fly off on the freeway, and get it to a shop and start stripping it, start cutting it where it needs to be cut in order for us to mount it on our E92 at home. So let's get that loaded up. All right, guys, well, we got the quarter loaded up. Well, the two boys did, I was just recording. But anyways, it's a little longer than the 6-foot bed can handle, but we'll strap it down. And here we have about 1 1/4 of a car. There's a quarter of a car and a full truck over here. So let's get this hauled down to the shop, tear it open and see the condition of it, get a better look of it, see if there's any dents, damages or anything like that. But man, it came with everything. These guys at the junkyard were not messing around, bro. They just sawzalled everything. They don't give a rat's. Look at this. Oh yeah. All right, let's go, boys. All right, guys, well, we are now at the house where the E92 M3 sits, and we got the quarter panel with us right over here. Everything is safe. We made it here, absolutely no problems. And our goal now is to unload the quarter panel, and then I will show you guys what we're gonna do, what kind of work we're gonna do, because on the quarter panel that was on the car, our goal is to save the inner pieces, and on this quarter panel, we gotta save the outer skin. So it's gonna be a little bit of different kind of work on this one, and I'll explain to you guys how we're gonna be spot riveting and spot drilling out, grinding from the inside rather than from the outside. And here's that Lamborghini Urus, someone commented. But anyways, guys, let's get this quarter panel loaded off and inspect it, because I think I saw a little dent on it. But anyways, let's get it unloaded. All right, guys, well, we got the quarter panel unpackaged somewhat. Now we're taking out the trunk, and it's right over there. Hopefully it's in good condition. It seems like it has a black trunk lip. That is interesting. That is very interesting. But the quarter panel seems to be in very good condition, besides that dent right there. Hopefully you guys can see it. But yeah, and then it's got something funny right here, but that's not a problem at all. And then quarter panel seems to be pretty good, we're good. Well, this is good condition. For $400, this is very good condition. Now, yo, let's open this trunk lid. Let's take a look right here. Open this puppy up. I need to see the condition of this. Look at that, it came with a free seat. So whoever needs a seat, this will probably be in a giveaway. No, I'm just kidding. All right guys, well, we got the trunk unwrapped and it does have a black trunk clip like I said. And let's see the condition just from right now. Seems to be in perfect shape actually. Might not even have to paint it. No, I'm just kidding. This looks like a regular Alpine white and our car is mineral white. So I don't see any damage right now. At least we don't have that buckle like we had in our old trunk lid. You know, that was a pain in the butt, honestly. To fix that is just basically almost impossible because the trunk was pinched together from the accident and it buckled out on these two corners. But yeah, look at this. That's one very, very cool thing about junkyards, you can say. They don't care like what they give you. Look, like this is literally a quarter of the car. You got all of these wiring, all of like, you know, a sensor. This looks like an SRS sensor. All this sound deadening stuff. I'm sure there's probably stuff behind there. Yeah, look at all these wiring. I mean, you can, in the long run, you're probably winning just because it has all this stuff. You know, when I buy quarter panels from the auction or from dealer, it just comes with the skin, and oftentimes you need minor things like these little caps, you know, these little plugs, all these little stuff. They all add up, especially like things like this, the vents, all these little sensors, brackets, everything you have to buy, bolts and stuff. But anyways, we're super pumped. And what I want to explain to you guys is that this quarter panel, you know, it has to be drilled out a very different technique, I would say, than the other one. We got to drill this one from this side, basically from the inner paneling on the outside, because we want to save the outside panel as much as we need, as much as we can actually. Some places are going to be drilled, that's where I can't reach with a spot welder, and I'm going to have to weld through them and then grind them down. But the spots where I can reach with the spot welder, for example right over here, I can reach here with the spot welder. So on this panel, we're going to have to drill it out from this side over here. Drill from this side because we don't really care about the inner panel. If it has a hole in it, it's not a big deal, but the outside panel, we want to save as much as we can along here, all along down here, and see how much of this outside panel we have to save, or we can save. Another thing is this right here, this is all in glue and it's folded here, so it's gonna be extremely hard to pull this skin off in one piece, but we're gonna do it. So all right, well, here's the gas lid off the other car, the original car, and here's, see that difference of color? Yeah, that difference of color is actually pretty off. The reason for that is because this mineral, I've noticed, I had a mineral M3 and this mineral is actually whiter than the Alpine. It's weird, but yeah, see that? It's whiter. Now we're gonna measure this taillight socket. Let's see if we have the same gap problem. Slide her in. Oh my goodness, look at that gap. Look at that. See, that's how she's supposed to sit. That is so sick. I'm extremely pumped. After this, it's all downhill. Get the quarter panel on, and then it goes the mudding, paint process, and assembly. Man, I'm pumped. Alright guys, well, the battery died in the camera, but we didn't get too much work done. Basically what we started doing is revealing the spot welds. Similar progress as on the E92. Some of the spots are not going to be belt filed. Some of the spots are actually going to be drilled through, and the reason for that is because I can't reach in there with a spot welder, so I'm going to have to weld it and then grind it down. But yeah, let's continue working. Alright guys, well, major progress update for you guys, and the reason why we're trying to fly through this as fast as we can is because it is getting slightly dark already, and in about an hour it's going to be dark. So we got this rear section out already, and the reason why there's holes here is because I can't reach there with a spot welder. There's a couple layers under here and I physically just can't reach there, so I made holes and I'm going to weld them in and it gets steam sealed over. So what we have left to do, this whole rear section is already loose and it's basically kind of wobbling, but I can't move it too much for you guys because we're trying to save this skin and I don't want any warpage anywhere here. But we got this section right here left, and then this section right here left, and the bottom I finished up everything back there. This quarter skin should pop right off, and then we can do our precision cutting and test fit it onto the car over there. Let's keep working. Alright guys, one more progress update for you guys before we flip this quarter over and start working on the bottom section of it. A lot of these holes, or the reason why we started drilling a lot of this is because this is actually triple ply. So if you can see, it's 1, 2, and 3. And to belt file from the back, it just does not hit this section of the quarter panel, and it's super hard. So we figured we're gonna drill it, and then on the car we're gonna weld up the holes, grind them down, and make them flush as we can. So yeah, let's flip this quarter on its side and start working on the bottom section and get this skin off. Let's go. Alright guys, well, after like 6 or 7 hours of hustling and bustling, making sure that this quarter panel does not get damaged. This is just some torch marks, and then you guys saw on the old quarter panel that there's glue, foaming glue here, and then all around this seam. That's why we were torching it, trying to get that glue off, but now it is finally off, as you guys can tell. Look at that. Anyways, it's fully off. There's a little bit of glue still right here holding on. There it goes. Alright, well, there it is. Oh, snap. Grab some. Alright, well, here's the new quarter panel that we're going to be mounting onto the car. I'm gonna lay it down that way it does not get damaged. Oh, this thing is huge. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna set it down like that. Actually, just a little bit this way. That way. Alright, like so. But anyways, guys, we still need this part right here, and we're gonna swap that out. Ed already got the hub swapped out, I'm guessing. Yes, no?
Yep.
Look at that thing. Brand new, beautiful. Oh, that is so tight. Where's the old one?
Right here.
Let's see this old one. So this old one is just extremely loose. So it's just like, and it makes a little bit of noise. So that's why we went ahead and swapped it out with a brand new one to make sure that there's no shaking up front, and might as well do the maintenance, you know, kind of things like that. But yeah, so we're gonna continue working, get this piece right over here drilled out on that right there, that chunk of the car, and measure it up to here, probably tack it in or something. And yeah, so let's continue working, see how much progress we can get done for the rest of the night. It is, I'll tell you right now what time it is. It is 8:30, which is still not too late. It's dark outside, but we can still be loud, so let's keep working. Alright guys, well, we got this piece off that quarter panel, and we test measured it up to here, and it fits perfect right where it needs to be, right there, or something like that. But anyways, before I actually weld this on, since we're not going to be replacing this piece right here, I'm actually just gonna, it's much more handier for me to get here and just hammer all this full section out, make it as clean as possible, and then I'm gonna weld that on. And I can't hammer right now because it's getting too late. It's like almost 9 o'clock. There's neighbors. So I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow. Alrighty guys, well, next morning here, and yesterday we closed off the video, but after that we started cleaning up, putting the quarter panel inside the tent, and the new quarter panel was laying there, and we're like, no, there's gonna be damage on it if we leave it overnight. So we decided to test fit it onto the car, and take a look at this. Boom, we just laid it up. We did no measurements whatsoever, just laid it up. And man, this thing's already looking like a car. We still have some work to do, obviously. Cutting it up here, there, doing our final measurements, final cuts. And here's that dent I was talking about. I'm sure you guys can see that. Let's go from a better angle right over here. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But we're gonna tap it out from the inside just lightly and then mud it or glaze it, and it should be perfectly fine. We got those rotors resurfaced, so we're gonna install those rotors right now, and then after that we're gonna install the lowering springs, because that is some stock springs right there. And we do got a new set of tires and wheels right over there, so I'm not gonna reveal those just yet, but they look super sick. And we got spacers. This thing's gonna sit so good. So let's go ahead and get those rotors on. Also, I need to weld on this piece back here under the quarter panel, so we're gonna pull the quarter panel back off and weld that piece in as well. Let's keep working. Alrighty guys, here's a major progress update for you guys. We got this rear piece welded in, and then I cleaned up all the extra seam seal, all the extra gunk and everything, and primed it basically just to keep the rust out of it and whatnot. On top of this, we're gonna seam seal and then paint it white, and I'm gonna get some olive color, basically the color of this, and paint it right over here, make it look all pretty. Ed already got one spring getting installed right over there. Got the rest off, one here, and then the rear ones, oh, there's one rear one over there. But anyways, very simple in the rear. Unscrew these two bolts right here, one for the shock, one for the control arm, and then just kind of pry with the pry bar this bottom control arm down, and the spring comes right out. In the front, pretty straightforward as well. Take off these three strut hat bolts, nuts, and then basically, yeah, you're taking off the stabilizer link because it attaches to this strut. And this whole suspension assembly just falls over. You press it down a little bit, slide it out right here, unscrew this top bolt, and just get that suspension out of there, pry it out of there. We put a little, like a screwdriver inside here. Basically just tap it so it open this up, and then slide the spring out of there. Very straightforward. But yeah, we're ready. We're ready for the quarter panel to test fit it, get our final cuts in. But I'm actually gonna hop on and help Ed finish up all the suspension just to get that all busted out. Unfortunately, in this video, you guys are not gonna see how it's gonna look like lowered, because we're not gonna have the quarter panel on, and we're not gonna take the car off the frame until the quarter panel is fully on. So yeah, but we're getting everything prepped. That way this car comes off this frame machine looking perfect, hopefully. Yeah, let's keep working. Alright guys, another fat progress update for you guys. We are pulling things, making things work, squeezing, pulling, pushing, anything to make the car back in shape, make it look as OEM as we can. Humongous progress update. Got the suspension on, all 4 wheels, and we got the rotors on, suspension is on up there, everything's tightened down. As for suspension wise, everything is done. Another thing we're going to do in this video is actually cut the 3 quarter panel places, 1, 2, and 3, and test fit the new quarter panel on and see if we do need any pulling back here, because that quarter panel, the old one, which is now right over there, is pretty smashed up. And let me show you actually the Bondo on it. Here's a little chunk I pulled off. Not bad. And I give it a couple good smacks from the back with the hammer, and look at that. Let it stop shaking. Look at that. Oh yeah, buddy. So yeah, that's the new one, and we're gonna cut it, test fit up to the car, and see, have that quarter panel be like an identifier to see what needs to be pulled. So let's keep working. Alrighty guys, well, we got the 3 cuts in and they're looking beautiful. We got the cut right over here, we got the cut right over here, and we got the cut inside of the door over there. And I used this hole right over here as an identifier to where the quarter panel has to sit. See, as you can tell, it's basically sitting exactly where it should, and then this plug should pop right in with this thing like that. There you go. So literally that's an identifier, and we didn't really work with the gaps that much, but as you can tell, the gap is already basically set. Just has to be pulled out just a bit back, like so. And yeah, the gap is gonna be beautiful. I would love to weld this quarter panel on in this episode, but unfortunately this episode is already getting too long since we installed the springs, did the rotors, pulled the quarter panel off, test fit. We did a ton of work. So if you guys are new to this channel, please smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to share our post notifications, because we're gonna get this M3 done very, very soon. And with that being said, don't forget to follow my Instagram at BYBTim, and you guys have a beautiful day.